What's up, everybody? Today we're going to go over the pros and cons of staging your house when you go to sell it. And more importantly, I'm going to show you some before and after pics so you can decide for yourself if you think it's worth it. I have a lot of thoughts about staging, and besides the cost, it's a no-brainer to me. The pictures are going to look better. The house is going to look better. Buyers are going to like it better. So of course, you should always stage your home. But then there is the cost, and a lot of sellers don't want to spend the money. So we've got to weigh that in and see if it's worth it. So let's dive right in. In this HDTV world, the more your house pops, the more views you're going to get. The more views, the more activity, and hopefully the more money in your pocket. Because that is the point after all. There are two ways to stage. The first one is with your own furniture. And this has more to do with decluttering, getting rid of some big pieces, and then adding some cute touches to make the house feel more elegant and fresh. I always bring fresh flowers to my listings right before we do the pictures, usually something bright and colorful for the kitchen like sunflowers or tulips depending on the season. And then I always love to bring some beautiful orchids for the bathrooms and also for the entranceway. I'll also add some cute touches like candles or soaps or towels, anything to create a more elegant vibe. Now, I do need to preface that if your furniture is old and dated, using your own furniture may not work. So, if you're selling grandma's house like I did, and the furniture, although lovely and sentimental, and you love it, because you want to make sure they understand you love it, you may be asked by your realtor to remove all the furniture and then stage an empty house. Let's just face it, dated furniture makes a house look dated. So just keep that in mind. The good thing about using your own furniture is that it doesn't cost you any money. And it is effective, especially with professional photography. It does, however, take some time. So this is not a last-minute project. I usually give my sellers 2 to 3 weeks of lead time where we go through each room and decide what stays and what goes, so they have the time to really do the work to get the house into shape and get it ready for pictures. Some of my most frequently asked questions are, where do I put my stuff that I'm taking off the shelves, or some of those big pieces that you're asking me to remove from the house? There's two answers to this, and they're both fine. The first one is, if you are taking the stuff that you are decluttering with you to the next house, simply box it up and put it in the garage. I don't mind boxes in the garage as long as they're nice and neatly stacked. Even if it's some of the bigger pieces of furniture, if they're in the garage and they're not a mess, it's fine. People know that you're moving. If you don't have a garage, or you're not comfortable with that, then you may want to rent a pod. And then you can put everything in the pod and then just take the pod to the next house. The next answer is for stuff that you're not taking with you to the next house. And there I make 3 piles: what you're gonna donate, what you're gonna discard, and what you're gonna sell. In your donate pile, you can donate to Goodwill or to your church or wherever you wanna donate. Your discard, well, that's everything that's going to the dump or the trash. And then there may be stuff that you can sell. And if you are gonna sell some stuff, try putting it on Facebook Marketplace, because it's a great local way to sell your stuff. By the way, if you are getting some value out of the videos I'm putting out every week, and you wanna show our channel some support, definitely consider subscribing and liking the video, commenting. It just motivates us to make more videos. I appreciate it. Thank you. The next question I get is, how do I know how much stuff to remove from my shelf? If you are working with a realtor, they will advise you. I literally go room by room with my sellers as they take notes, and I'll just point stuff out. Remove that, move that, etc., etc. But if you're doing it yourself, or maybe your realtor isn't advising you, the short answer is think in groups of 3s. If you have a surface with a lot of stuff on it, whether it's a bookshelf or an armoire or a side table, and you're removing it, leave 3 items. That's usually more than enough, sometimes only 2, but never really more than 3. It's just kind of a rule of thumb when it comes to staging. And if your couch is looking a little tired, try adding some bright pillows to it just to give it that fresh look. They don't have to be expensive. You can get them from Amazon or Home Goods. Just something nice and cute and new, because it will just brighten it up. I have a couple gorgeous homes on the market right now that we use the seller's own furniture to stage it, and they're under contract, so I'll put a couple pictures up here so you can kind of see what we did. So all we did in this house is we decluttered, we removed some of the bigger pieces, and then we added some candles in the primary bathroom and orchids and some cute little things around the house to really just give it that fresh, elegant vibe. I think it looks amazing, and we got a lot of offers on the house, so it definitely was worth the time they spent to get it ready. The next way to stage is an empty house. Now, this does cost money, but I honestly think you get way more money out of it than you're putting into it. And you really don't need to stage the whole house. I advise my clients to stage the main living level, so the living room, family room, kitchen, we'll add some cute stuff, office, everything on the main level. Definitely the primary bedroom or primary suite, and then the rest, it's definitely depends on the house. I don't stage the other bedrooms because you can just tell they're bedrooms. I usually don't stage the basement unless it's kind of a really cool basement that you could have different areas for gaming or entertainment, whatever. But usually basements are basements and people can use their imagination. But the main living level and the primary bedroom and all the bathrooms will have cute stuff in them, for me, is a must. Now let's get to the good part, the before and after. Take a look at this house I sold in Bethesda. It was a super cute house, but the sellers had already moved out, so it was empty. Empty house looks smaller than a house that's furnished. It just is the way it is. Empty rooms look smaller. So, with their approval, we decided to stage it. So let's start with the family room. They had really nice windows. The floors were okay. The house was built in 1940 and was only 1,658 square feet. So it was definitely on the smaller side. That's Bethesda for you. Now look at it staged. The rug just brightens it up, don't you think? And the furniture shows the new buyer how they can use the space, where they're going to put their TV, for example. And I love the bright blue pillows and that pop of red from the flowers. The room just comes to life. Let's move on to the living room. All we did here was a few chairs and a rug, some plants, and once again created that pop of color on the fireplace mantle. The mirror was a brilliant idea because it made the room really feel so much bigger when you were there in person. The dining room was pretty small, so we didn't want to overwhelm it with a big table. So check out what we did. Here's the empty room. Looks pretty small, it was. And then here's the dining room staged. Remember, this is to create space. So the smaller table made it feel like a bigger room. Add the artwork and the orchid, and it just created an elegant vibe. Onto the office. This was a huge difference. This is a really small space. So by staging the office, it really gave the impression that it was big enough to hold a desk plus these two chairs. I think it looks fantastic. And finally, the primary bedroom. These bedrooms in these older homes are really small, so by adding the bed and the end tables, mounting the fake TV, and just showing how you would use this space made the room feel bigger and a lot more inviting. I gotta tell you, even the most beautiful, brand new construction, massive homes look smaller with empty rooms. This is why all the builders end up staging them. So what do you think? We transformed this smaller, older, empty house into this super cute and inviting home that really made it seem more spacious and bigger. And all of that cost $2,600. And we ended up with 9 offers and sold the house for almost $100,000 over the asking price. So I really think that $2,600 was money well spent. So let's talk about the cost. I always recommend getting at least 2 quotes to compare. And like I said previously, I honestly believe you do not need to stage the entire house. Just the main living level, the primary suite, and then like I said, adding a little touches to the kitchen and the bathrooms, possibly the basement, depending on the house, but most likely not. So compare the cost to a couple different companies, but in general, it should cost you about between $2,500 to $5,000, and the contract is usually for 2 months, depending on the size of the house. Any additional month after that is usually an additional fee, but every staging company will have their own process, so you gotta just check them out in your area. Remember, photos are the first impression and may be the deciding factor on whether those buyers choose to visit your home in person. So take it from someone who's been doing this 21 years. I believe, besides paint, which is probably the #1 thing you should do when you get your house ready to sell, that staging a home, whether it's with your own furniture or if you need it to be empty, with stage furniture, is the best bang for your buck. If you want to know what else you should do if you're getting ready to sell your home, check out our video on these 10 things that you should definitely remove from your house before you put it on the market. For watching, hope you got some value in today's video. If you did, like and subscribe. It really helps us out.